Hey people, welcome back to GrownKid. I'm Gael.
And I'm Kayla.
It's graduating season for a lot of people. I wouldn't know because I'm not in school, I'm not in college, but I'm seeing all my friends posting about graduating, taking pictures, grad photos, last day of classes ever.
Ever.
Kaylee, you're in
Yes.
school, so how are you feeling?
I am. It sounds so cliche, but I just can't believe it's already here. I can't believe it is now graduation season. And I remember literally last year around this time, I would be seeing, like people setting up for grad and thinking, like, okay, well, I still have a year left till I'm at that point, and now I'm at that point. Yeah, I had my last week of classes last week, and I was expecting more emotionally on my side. I was expecting to feel very sentimental and like sappy and sad, but I feel like for the most part, I was more so just going through the motion of like, this is just another week of school and I'm tired and I'm overwhelmed. And I just like want to complete all of my assignments. And so I feel like because of that, I wasn't feeling very nostalgic or anything. And I was trying to be like really sad about it. Like I would purposefully like make myself like sit on campus and just think, Um, oh, nothing would come out. Nothing would come out. And I'm like, damn it.
Worst
Like,
feeling when it's like I want to cry.
yes. I'm
Do
like, now this is
something.
not satisfying. Um, but I mean, there's no point in trying to like make myself live through the sadness twice because I know that once I actually do graduate, I'm definitely gonna experience it. So yeah, I feel like my last week of classes, I was more so just literally trying to get my assignments done, and like that was that. But now that that's over and it's definitely nearing closer to actual graduation, I it's weird because even now I still don't feel fully sad, and a part of me is like, am I not letting myself feel sad? Am I like do I have a defense mechanism going on right now? Because it just feels wrong for me to not be like ultra depressed about it right now, you know? Um, but I don't know. I think that also another part of me is just like I am looking forward to graduating as well. Like obviously I am scared because of the change that's going to happen. My social life is going to change, my community is going to change, but at the same time I feel like I've outgrown my school and I feel like I have reached my learning capacity right now at this moment. And I feel like thinking about literally going to school for another year after this, I I feel like there's nothing. Of course, there's always more to learn, but there's nothing left for me at that right now for this time period,
Yeah.
like, and so in that way, I am looking forward to just finally like being me, if that makes sense, because I feel like since you're what 4 years old, you go to preschool up until college, your identity is the fact that you're a student, like, oh, like I'm a student at this school or whatever. And so I am looking forward to just being Kayla. Like that is my identity, you know? Um and I feel like that's exciting. Also just like having more free time, being able to like just fully work. That's exciting. But yeah.
And do you feel like you're like now that you've had time to go through your 4 years, how worth it do you feel like college has been to you? Do you feel like you learned what you expected to learn?
I feel like before going into college, I actually didn't know what college was. It was just sold to me as this thing of you need to be here. And so I feel like before going into it, I didn't really have much expectations besides I'm gonna learn a lot here. I'm gonna meet a lot of new people. And I did do that, but I also feel like throughout my college experience, I didn't have many classes where I felt like this this is what I see in the movies. Like this is like open discussion. This is like the teacher like being open and helping and I'm making friends with my classmates. It wasn't a lot of that a lot of the times, like 9 times out of 10. I feel like I really only had that experience with maybe like 2 or 3 classes. Um And I remember one of the classes I experienced that, and it was like the end of the semester, and I like started tearing up when I like went up to the professor to like say goodbye, which I never do. Usually I'm like, okay, bye. You don't even know my name, which is fine. Um, but in a lot of ways, it did skew my perception of like what higher education is supposed to be, or just feeling left out of that. I think before I didn't really understand the nuance behind going to like a predominantly white institution or like a school like USC. I didn't know any background about that at all. I didn't know the demographic, the history, nothing. So with that, I feel like I just went in blindly and was then exposed to what it was actually like. And I remember like my freshman year, I feel like the trust that I had in college and in like academia was sort of ruined in a way. And I feel like it was so hard for me after that to feel excited about what I was learning just because I was exposed so harshly to just think about like your typical business class at USC where like the top 1% of freshmen are attending. You know, you're gonna hear and see a lot of different things. And so I feel like in that way, I was more so just like, oh, wait, this is not entirely built for me and is not for me. And so I feel like in that way, it was very heartbreaking because I generally love learning. Like I've always like liked learning. And so I feel like the once fresh like spirit that I had going in was changed after that. And I feel like it was kind of hard to like get back to that. But regardless, I did enjoy my education. I know I say like a lot of bad, negative things about it now, but I did enjoy it. And thinking about though, like if I were middle class and I had to pay like fully out of pocket for USC's tuition, personally, I don't know if I would pay the full amount to go to a college like that. And specifically like middle class because I feel like that's where you don't get enough aid to like fully pay everything off, but like you're expected to like because you make a certain threshold, you're expected to pay all of it. I feel like in that way it's just not worth the debt personally. And it also of course depends on what you're studying. Like sometimes you don't have an option. Like if you want to be a doctor, you have to go to college. I'm speaking more like business or design or, cinematic arts, whatever. Um, but I am very, very grateful to have graduated debt free because I had aid. And so in that way, I'm very extremely grateful that like I am graduating with a degree, which is so crazy. I feel like whenever I think about that part, that's when I get like a little emotional just because like I think about myself in high school, like trying to like get like straight A's and like working so hard to like get into college and now being basically 22 and graduating from USC with my bachelor's degree and being like the first in my family to accomplish this at this scale. I just this like what stars have aligned for me for this to happen. And so in that way I'm so 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 grateful.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Do you feel like was the USC is the USC debt worth the network?
I don't know if this is because like I'm fearful of debt and just like the thought of being hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt is just like paralyzing to me. But I think of you, for example, like you built an amazing network,
Hmm.
debt free. I think you, of course, you can make amazing connections at USC or really just any college, but to have to pay so much for that, to, that I genuinely do not know, but also I very much understand why people do pay that amount. But again, I'm just like I see other people do it without college and they're doing fine, like I don't know. I also just feel like college in general just doesn't have the same intrinsic motivations for students as it has before. I feel like now people feel like they do it. Yeah, it feels like people are not excited to learn and they're more so going to their classes to finish this finish line or this goalpost, and it's done so out of necessity rather than a desire to actually be there and learn. And trust me, like I definitely fall into that spectrum at times, like I don't like this class, but I have to show up because I have to get my degree. But to pay so much money to be in an environment where people aren't even fully excited to learn and are more so there just to like be there,
Yeah.
you know? I don't know. I feel like that's one thing that like really struck me being in college was just realizing, wait, people don't seem that excited to learn. That made me sad. That made me sad.
Yeah, I hear that there's like a different experience when you go to like a more liberal arts college where the instructors are approaching it with a small class, small, faculty to student ratio. And when I look at those experiences, that seems very interesting to me and much more like the type of college that I wish I had experienced. But yeah, when I look at the big classes with hundreds of people in one room, that doesn't seem very inspiring or interesting at all. Um, which sucks because I think I see college as this like mystical force of people learning vast amounts and being such well educated people in society. But when you look at the quality of education, it feels like it's on a downhill. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of grade inflation. There seems to be less learning than ever, especially now with, you have AI and different tools to have to think a little less than other generations. And so I look at some of the people graduating college and sometimes I'm like, wow, why does it seem like some of you guys like don't have like the skills to really survive in the world and like get a job and like learn how to network and learn how to what actually runs the world. And granted, yeah, like college is supposed to teach you that. So it's a very surprising when then employers end up being the ones to teach you, but in order to get the job, you need to already have a sense. I don't feel like college is preparing a lot of students adequately enough. And I also think there's just such a shitty generation right now. Um, I feel like scared for a lot of the college graduates right now in this specific year because we graduated in COVID. Um, and now you're graduating to this like shitty ass job market of people not being able to get jobs. Do you feel any of that like pressure with your friends who are a little less certain about their future and what they're doing like post college?
Yeah, I feel like I definitely hear it from my friends, just the fear and anxiety of they don't know where they are. They don't know where they're going to end up post grad, and I mean, it makes me feel for them, of course, because like I see them submitting so many applications and it's like not necessarily leading to anywhere. But I also hear a lot of friends being like, "Oh, like I might just get my master's just to like prolong like graduating or like being out."
Or that.
Yeah, like just to like prolong being out in the real world. And I get it. Like I joke about it too. I'm like, let me get my master's. Hell no. No, I'm not doing that. Not right now.
Mm.
No. Um, and so I mean, it's scary, but it also just feels like there's nothing to do but to just keep on applying to places. And I think luckily for me, I'm in a fortunate spot where we have created our own jobs. Um, and so in that way, I'm thankful that I do have like a plan post grad that is giving me some guidance and direction. Um, but I think a lot of newly grads are feeling that anxiety. But there is, or for USC specifically, you know how like they have like the percentage of newly grads that have like a job,
Yeah.
whatever. I think those percentages are like updated like 6 months post grad. So it's like a lot of people aren't receiving news right now, but wait until 6 months, maybe you'll hear something. And it sucks that you have to wait so long to finally know where you're gonna end up. And it's just like if you're paying so much for a supposed guarantee of a job, it should be more stable.
Mm.
You shouldn't have to gamble 100K plus on maybe I will get a good paying job, you know?
Yeah, it really feels like the degree was not enough. I think a lot of young people that got fucked is the young people that got fucked are the ones that went into college thinking all they need to do is complete their homework and they're going to learn enough to get a job. And then they graduate and realize actually employers expect you to do some other great shit outside of school to prove to them you have the skills to do the job that required no experience. So now they're fucked. 'Cause it's like, okay, I just graduated. I actually have no skills to get me hired. I need to go and do unpaid internships. I need to do like unpaid work just to develop the skills that college was supposed to teach me while I was in school, and then finally apply to get a job. And some people just simply don't have the financial means to support themselves throughout that. And so a lot of times they can get caught in a big loophole of first needing to get a part-time job, then needing to save up, and then needing to do different types of gigs or works or things to get experience. And then finally it's been a year and a half, 2 years, and then they can finally like really maybe get a full-time offer, because some people go a year like unemployed looking for jobs, months going looking for jobs, and they don't find anything. So real scary stuff, guys. I am like, sometimes, like I've said this in previous episodes, I yes, I would have loved to go to college for the social aspect, but when I think about the professional prospects, I sometimes feel like I'm in a much better place than a lot of college graduates. I feel like I've built my network where if I wanted to go into a corporate career, I would have a much easier time understanding how to get a job than a lot of people my age that did go to college. And yes, one of the concerns about not going to school is there may be a career limit. There's a cap on your career because at some point things start requiring degrees, which I think is stupid. But for the most part, I think it's very telling how many like young people don't know how to get a job or network, and it's just bewildering. It's honestly ridiculous, especially for how much you're paying. It does feel like a big scam. So many people are paying so much, they're not having employment, and I feel bad. I feel bad for them. It sucks, it really does suck. But we'll see how you feel after graduating, because I think there is the whole like post college depression.
Oh yeah, and I know I'm gonna get depressed. Like, or, or I know that I will feel the loss of it afterwards. And I think especially once I move out of the house that I'm at right now in LA, that's when I will particularly feel it, because then I'm gonna be coming back home. And then in my head, it just feels like I'm reverting back to my pre-college self, and it feels like I've lost all the progress that I've made. Like in LA, I have my freedom. I'm not reporting to anybody, and I'm literally 22. But I know that once I go back home and I'm like, I'll pass like 10 p.m. My mom's gonna be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Girl, I have not been home for the past 4 years." Like, I'm just gonna miss that freedom and independence that I have when I am away from my family. But at the same time, I am looking forward to spending that much needed time. And I think when I think about receiving my degree and just my degree in general, I really just wanted to do it for myself. Like, I just wanted to have it because I know that nobody can take this away from me. Like, this is a one thing that like I was able to accomplish, let alone at a place like USC. And I feel like to me that was just like, of course, it's not all the validation that you need, but for me, I needed that. Like, I need this degree not just for myself, but also like for my family. Like, when I think about like my nephews too that are thinking about going to college, and like my nephew's telling me like, "Oh, like I want to go to your college." Like, that makes me just like, "Yes, like do it." The fact that I can boost my family's and future families' chances of now going to higher education, when of course it's not all that you need. But also, can I say sometimes I feel like I've been seeing a lot of discourse around this lately, where a lot of people are telling you you don't need higher education, you don't need to go to college, you can find all of this elsewhere, which of course a part of that is true. But at the end of the day, like, families are still sending their kids to college. Like, the rich kids are still going to college, and you're in a way getting left behind because of this, because people are telling you you don't need to go to college. And I agree I see why people say that, but at the same time, I don't think that should directly influence you not attending. I think a lot of times I feel like now especially higher education is being taken for granted more, I would say. But because of that, I feel like a lot of people are going to get left behind. So I don't know. I really deeply feel that if you have the opportunity to, I would pursue higher education just because I really feel like ultimately it can only help you if you're not paying like a ridiculous amount of money for it, of course, and like you have help and stuff. Um, but I really do feel like it's an investment towards yourself and your future.
Yeah, I don't believe in not telling people. I don't believe in telling people to not go to college. I feel like 90%, 95% of people are better off going.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
there's a specific few,
Yes.
but it is honestly probably very unlikely that like you were one of those people. Most people get so many more benefits.
Yes.
Yeah, unless you're like willing to live like a life of a lot more volatility in your career and ups and downs and risk. Like college does pay off in the long run, and there's studies that show that the value of a degree really does pay off in your total career earnings over your lifetime. So I advocate for going to school. I really
Yes.
do. I really do. There's certain
Cool.
people that definitely don't need it, but to be honest, even going for a year just to get acquainted with the network and say you went and then dropped out, I think it's still better than nothing at all. Like, yeah, if I could have gone back in time and gone to Berkeley for like a year and then dropped out, just so I could say like, oh yeah, I dropped out of Berkeley, that would have already been. It's just such a big social signal that comes in handy in so many unexpected ways, and in many ways, in times when people won't even tell you they're valuing that, but secretly, subconsciously, they definitely might be.
I feel like another thing that I've been grappling with graduation coming up and leaving my college behind is fighting with that feeling of knowing that I'm going to be forgotten. Of course, there will always be newly admitted students. There's always going to be a new incoming class. And with that is, of course, the fact that people are not going to remember me anymore. And it sounds self-centered to say maybe, but it just sucks that now, like, I even when I think about people that I just see during passing, I'm like, oh, I usually see this person during this time of day, and they don't even know my name, but I know them. Like I know their face, or the people that I do talk to during like a certain time period or a break that I have in between classes, just knowing that, wow, like after graduation, like I don't know when I'm gonna see you next, and I know that you will eventually forget about me, or we're just not going to be as close as before, and you're going to make new friends, and I'm just going to be on the back burner. And I know that that goes both ways too. Like there's people in my life now that I might not be in contact as much when I do graduate, but that just makes me sad. It makes me really sad, um thinking of myself just being forgotten from people's lives. I feel like that's what
Hmm.
what really gets to me the most.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. The fear of being forgotten.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, damn, these professors. Like, do you actually have a bond with me? You be telling all your students.
That part.
Yeah.
No, sometimes I think
It's like
that.
next to you have another one, another favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the hardest part post grad is mostly just gonna be my social life and what community looks like for me after that. Um, but I guess a good part of that is just now I can fully choose who I want to give my time to. Because sometimes in school it can be a matter of convenience or history. I've known this person for this long, and so I think after that I have full control. I literally have full control over everything in my life.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Woof. No, that is a seeing everyone about to graduate. I do just one. I pray for everyone. I'm like,
You pray before
pray every day.
for
Like,
all
you
the
God
grads.
for all you need grads. Like, dear Lord, Lord have
Thank you. that means a lot.
May the Lord give you a job, and may the Lord bless you with a short post-college depression. Just because I know what a fucking shock to your whole system it is to know that you're in control of your life now. There is no guidance. It's such a big mindset shift. It hits every part of your life of, what do I want to do with my life? What is my mission? What is my purpose? Who do I value? Who do I want to spend my time with? How do I make new friends? How do I keep my social life alive? How do I keep my good habits? How do I develop a routine? Like, these are all things that people take for granted because you're on autopilot. You're going to class, you're doing this, you know how to do this. But to be able to structure every single day and make the most out of every day is such a difficult skill to get used to, that it really hits hard. It takes adjustment. And a lot of times those first couple weeks are rough, where you lose meaning very quickly, and you do feel that sadness. So I just pray for all my friends that are going to face that. I'm like, God, I hope everyone's fine. I hope everyone, I feel bad specifically for like introverts, because post college you really have to try to make friends, and if you don't know how to make friends, and a lot of people don't, you will be left a little alone. And like, I hate that. I don't like the idea of people being left alone just because they keep to themselves. And yeah, I think that's when I say, like, it's a switch. Like, you learn to value your time, of choosing who to spend your time with, who chooses to spend their time with you, right? Who's actually inviting you to things. You start to take notice of so much more, and that can lead to so many realizations of, wait, this person that I used to see all the time actually never fucking actually reaches out. It was all convenience. And even those realizations are sad. They're sad.
No, it is sad. And it also makes me sad too, because like I feel like a lot of people, just like either mutuals that I see or people like in my classes or whatever, I feel like I've already reached the point where, oh, that was the last time I saw you and I didn't know that.
mm,
I didn't know that. Even with the people that I scheduled to get coffee with, before we graduate, I'm like, oh my God, this might be the last coffee chat we have. But like, I'm not gonna say that out loud because I don't want to put a damper on the mood, and I'm just gonna end it with, I'll see you again later. I'm not. I mean, I will, but like, it's not gonna be the same.
yeah.
It's not gonna be the same, and so that itself, just being so aware of the fact that, oh, this might be the last time I'm hanging out with this person or seeing this person, it's just, I feel like I am always caught in this trap of like mourning the present as it's happening. And I don't want that. I want to get out of that for this time period and just be present and try not to experience that same loss twice. Like, I don't need to experience it while I'm with the person right in front of me. Which I feel like lately has been okay, again, because I haven't been feeling super sad about the end of classes. But yeah, it just makes me really sad because I hate saying goodbyes. I hate saying goodbyes. I never want to let people go. I want everybody to stay in my life. I want everybody to move near me and live next to me and just hang out with me. And it makes me really sad that the people that I have grown like so close to, or even the people that I wish I had more time to connect with or form a deeper bond with, we just won't have that time right now, at least. And that makes me really sad. And I try not to beat myself up over it, because I think sometimes I get stuck in the cycle of like, I should have reached out more or I should have done this more. But I have to remember it goes both ways as well.
It's so bittersweet. I'm like, wow, seeing all my friends in their little camping gowns. Like, how cute. How cute.
Yeah.
So wild. It's weird. Yeah, I'm like, you guys are 22-year-old men, women.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck?
Adults now.
Yeah, like, you're a 22-year-old. That's, when I think about like 22, like, where to go out as a 22-year-old in New York City or something, I think of like, oh, those are people with like, yeah, adults and stuff.
Yes,
I'm like,
yes.
wait, where the 22-year-olds going out?
Yes. No, it really is crazy.
Doesn't feel like I've gone out enough as a 21-year-old, 22-year-old. I feel like I should be doing more of that. It's tough, guys.
Yeah. But also part of like graduating too is realizing like, oh, I have outgrown the social circle here too, in a way. Like, I don't think I fully have. I haven't even met all the people that are gonna be my close friends, you know? And it's like, I remember on Friday, I was like, this is my, like, I hadn't been to a frat party in months, but I was like, I have to go just because this is it. This is gonna be my last one. I went in knowing, like, this is like, oh my God, you know, it's the final one. And I was like, I was there for 30 minutes and then I left. Because I was like, this is not my scene anymore. You know, like, I don't think it ever fully was, but now more than ever, it's like, this is not for me. So in those ways, yes, I am happy to experience and explore new social circles and figure out where my new friends are going to be. What's that saying where it's like your friends aren't, it's like you're in the wrong, you're not finding the people. No, you're you're not finding the people you're meant to because you're in the wrong spaces.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, yeah. For
Also
sure.
never the case.
Yeah.
Something like
Drop some wisdom on.
yeah. Boom.
When my mother once told me when the
Dream that you. Anyways, in that way, I feel that quote. So yeah, I think there's just going to be a lot of change to get used to, a lot of freedom to get structured to. But I don't know. I guess I'm looking forward to it too. I am. I think it is going to be fun. I really do think it's going to be fun. Of course, it's going to come with its lows, but I don't think college is my peak. I had so much fun in college. Don't get me wrong. I like made memories of a lifetime, whatever.
Yes.
But there's still so much more to come. So much more to come. And I know that I can't be in college forever. And I don't want to. That's the thing. Like, I literally don't want to be here forever. I just want all my friends with me.
Facts. Yeah, that's cute. I honestly think my goal in life is to convince everyone to live within like a mile of me.
Right? Like
walking distance.
Yes.
Like, guys,
Yes.
trust me on this.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm excited to check back in like 2 weeks once everyone graduates. I know it's like, it feels so fucking lost.
And I'm sure that is gonna happen.
Yeah.
But it has to happen.
It does.
It's just that's just a passage. It has to happen, and I have to feel that in order to reach the other side. So
wow, we'll be right here.
Thank you. Yeah, good luck to all my newly grads. I hope you guys receive your acceptance offers and you guys have amazing salaries and you guys just take advantage of your time now. You can literally choose whatever you want to do, which is debilitating but also freeing. You're no longer a student. Your identity is no longer being a student. It's just you. And so good luck to you all.
And good luck, Charlie. Good luck, GrownKid.
Bridget Miller.
Yeah, Bridget Miller. Or that's Nicole Kidman.
They look alike, you guys. They literally look alike.
We were watching the Met Gala, and Nicole Kidman pops up, and Kayla, like, excited as fuck, like, so sure. Is that Bridget Mendler? And then it cuts out, and I'm like, no, I think that was another white woman. Like, no. That was no, for a fact, that was Bridget Mendler. It was indeed Nicole Kidman.
She literally looks like Bridget Mendler from an angle. I'm sorry.
Like three decades apart too.
They literally look alike though.
Ooh, anyways, yeah. Sorry if the mic sounded a little different. Low-key, our shit got corrupted, so we're using the camera audio, but nothing a little AI can't fix.
Thank you.
Thanks for dealing with that. Besides that, thank you all so much for listening. Good luck. Let us know when you graduate in the little comment section. And yeah, we'll chat with you after graduation. Okay, bye.